An American audience needs to grasp how serious the things happening in the White House are. It's crucial for everyone to pay attention and understand what's going on. This impacts the country and its people directly. By being informed, we can all make better decisions and take action when needed. It's important to stay updated and aware of the situation. Let's work together to ensure transparency and accountability in our government. Everyone has a role to play in shaping the future of our nation. So let's stay informed and engaged. The Biden administration is currently on high alert, anxiously monitoring the nation's economic indicators due to growing concerns about a potential recession. The implications of such an event could have a significant impact on the president's re-election chances. For this reason, the administration is taking every possible measure to prevent or at least mitigate any adverse economic impacts. Historical data offers a clear warning to sitting presidents. Economic downturns can seriously jeopardize re-election chances. Americans tend to vote with their wallets, and recessions often lead to widespread dissatisfaction with the current administration, regardless of political affiliation. Thus, the specter of a recession is not just a concern for economists and policymakers. It is a political issue with potentially far-reaching consequences. However, as of now, consumer sentiment appears to be positive. People are optimistic about the future, with inflation views improving significantly. The University of Michigan's Sentiment Index, a widely respected barometer of public opinion on the economy, has reached its highest level since 2021. This suggests that despite some underlying concerns, the general public still has faith in the strength of the U.S. economy. Despite the positive public opinion, there's a lingering fear within the administration. There are concerns that this optimism may not last until election time. If a recession does hit, it could quickly erode public confidence and turn voters against the administration. Consequently, the White House is keeping a close eye on all economic indicators, ready to take action if necessary. The Federal Reserve is also closely monitoring the situation. As the nation's central bank, the Fed plays a critical role in managing the economy and preventing recessions. Increased consumer spending could maintain inflation rates, which would influence the Fed to keep interest rates high. This could act as a brake on the economy, slowing growth and potentially triggering a recession. The White House is operating in crisis mode, recognizing that the apparent economic recovery might not be as stable as it appears to the public. There's a sense of urgency to take proactive measures to prevent a recession or at least soften its blow if it does occur. This includes working closely with the Fed, implementing economic stimulus measures, and promoting policies that encourage job growth and consumer spending. Moving on, in the contemporary world, the reliability of the power grid has become an increasingly critical concern. As we move into an era where everything from our heating systems to home security is heavily dependent on electricity, the potential for widespread outages, particularly in winter, can be a daunting prospect. This is not merely a case of inconvenience. For many, it could mean a lack of essential services that ensure their survival and well-being. While many of us have experienced power outages at some point or another, it's important to understand that these previous experiences may not adequately prepare us for what may be coming. The scope and scale of future outages could far exceed anything we've previously encountered, largely due to the increased demands on our energy infrastructure and the aging systems that are struggling to keep up. Indeed. One of the most significant implications of potential power outages is their impact on the resilience of our energy infrastructure. In recent years, we've seen how natural disasters like hurricanes and wildfires have wreaked havoc on power grids, causing widespread and prolonged outages. Aging systems, which are often ill-equipped to handle such events, only exacerbate the problem. It's a stark reminder of just how vulnerable our power grids are and the dire consequences we could face if they fail. The risks associated with power outages are further underscored by our increasing dependency on electricity. For some individuals, particularly those with certain medical conditions, power outage could be life-threatening. For example, people who rely on electrically powered medical equipment like ventilators and dialysis machines would be at severe risk during a prolonged outage. Similarly, those who depend on electric heating could face hypothermia during a winter outage. This growing dependency on electricity highlights the urgent need for emergency preparedness. It's not just about having a flashlight and a few spare batteries on hand. It's about being ready for an extended period without power. This includes having backup heating systems in place, such as wood-burning stoves or propane heaters, and ensuring you have a sufficient supply of warm clothing and blankets. Food supplies are another critical consideration. Ideally, you should have at least a week's worth of non-perishable food items that don't require cooking. Speaking of cooking, it's also important to think about how you would prepare meals without electricity. Many of us take for granted the convenience of our electric stoves and microwaves, but in a power outage, these appliances would be useless. Alternatives like camping stoves, outdoor grills, and even solar ovens could be lifesavers in such a situation. Of course, safety should always be your top priority when using these alternatives. Never use a grill or camp stove indoors due to the risk of carbon monoxide poisoning. In conclusion, the potential for widespread power outages in winter is a significant concern that demands our attention and action. The consequences of such an event could be far-reaching, affecting not only our comfort and convenience, but also our health and safety. It's a stark reminder of our dependency on electricity and the fragility of our energy infrastructure. But by taking steps towards emergency preparedness, we can mitigate some of these risks and ensure we're ready to face whatever challenges may come our way. After all, it's better to be safe than sorry. The global political landscape is a complex tapestry of interconnected conflicts, rivalries, and tensions. Among these, the rising tensions between America and Iran, the ongoing Russia-Ukraine conflict, North Korea's unpredictable regime, and the increasing hostility between Israel and Hamas in the Middle East are all contributing to an increasingly volatile state of world affairs. In the case of the United States and Iran, escalating provocations have been a cause for concern, particularly in light of the recent attack on a U.S. base in Iraq. This situation is further complicated by criticisms levied against President Biden's strategy to avoid escalation. We perceive this approach as being weak and risking national security for political gains. The precarious balance between diplomacy and military action has always been a challenging tightrope to walk, but it is especially so in the current climate where any misstep could have far-reaching repercussions. And meanwhile, the conflict between Russia and Ukraine presents another significant risk to global stability. There is a very real fear that this dispute could spill over into a larger war, particularly if incidents occur involving NATO countries. The geopolitical implications of such an escalation are immense, potentially drawing in multiple nations and causing widespread devastation. Further afield, North Korea continues to be a wildcard on the world stage. Its unpredictable regime poses a significant risk of taking advantage of the chaotic global state to initiate military conflict. The secretive nature of North Korea's leadership only heightens this uncertainty, making it difficult for other nations to anticipate or effectively respond to their actions. In the Middle East, the situation is no less concerning. The increasing hostility between Israel and Hamas has resulted in complex humanitarian issues due to the use of human shields. Each side accuses the other of violations while innocent lives hang in the balance. The international community watches with bated breath as attempts to broker peace prove increasingly challenging. One of the most disconcerting aspects of the current global situation is the connected nature of these conflicts. It's like a precarious line of dominoes. An escalation in one area could trigger wider escalations, sparking a chain reaction that could engulf the globe. The recent near misses with missiles and drones highlight the fragile state of world peace and the ever-present danger of a full-scale war. The potential for a world war in 2024 is alarmingly high. While it may be uncomfortable to acknowledge this reality, it is essential that we do so. Only by recognizing the severity of the situation can we begin to take the necessary steps towards de-escalation. This responsibility falls not only on the shoulders of world leaders, but on all of us as global citizens. World leaders need to take concrete measures to diffuse these tensions. This includes engaging in open and honest dialogue, demonstrating a willingness to compromise, and prioritizing the preservation of peace over political or territorial gains. But their actions alone will not be enough. We, as individuals, must also play our part. This might involve lobbying our representatives, participating in peaceful protests, or simply educating ourselves and others about the issues at hand. In the rapidly evolving world of today, the World Economic Forum, in collaboration with Marsh McLennan and Zurich Insurance Group, has been speculating on potential global challenges that we may face in 2024 and beyond. According to the WEF's Global Risk Report, the future outlook appears rather pessimistic, with 60% of respondents expecting more negatives than positives over the next decade. One area of high risk identified by the WEF is the dissemination of misinformation. In an increasingly digital age, the spread of false information poses a significant threat to societal stability and security. This concern extends into the realm of cybersecurity, where breaches could have far-reaching impacts, even potentially affecting global elections and undermining the legitimacy of governments. Another critical area of concern is the potential for attacks on critical infrastructure such as water and electricity supplies. Any disruption to these essential services could pose a severe threat to societal functioning. Highlighting the importance of robust security measures and contingency plans, the fragility of global trade has also been exposed, revealing significant vulnerabilities in our supply chains. Such weaknesses could lead to a breakdown of globalization, adding another layer of complexity to the already challenging economic landscape. To address these risks, the WEF is promoting cooperation, innovation in green tech, and the development of new vaccines. However, transitioning to renewable energy sources is a complex process and a subject of ongoing debate. While there is broad agreement on the need for cleaner energy, questions remain about the feasibility and economic impact of such a transition. Balancing the demands of environmental sustainability, economic growth, and social equity is no easy task. In light of these challenges, the WEF recommends lifestyle changes to reduce our carbon footprints. However, such recommendations are often met with varied individual opinions, reflecting the diverse range of perspectives and priorities among the global population. Additionally, the WEF points to a stark decline in living standards, highlighting inequality as a pressing issue. To address this, the Forum advocates for global cooperation, emphasizing the need for collective action in tackling these systemic problems. The role of artificial intelligence in content creation is another area of focus for the WEF. As AI becomes increasingly prevalent, there are concerns about the potential need for watermarking to ensure governance and accountability. However, this raises important questions about the implications for free speech and the balance between regulation and freedom. The influence of the WEF extends beyond simply identifying and analyzing global risks. It also shapes investment decisions and policies, furthering its agenda and potentially impacting economies and societies worldwide. As we navigate these complex and uncertain times, it's important to stay informed and critically assess the views and projections put forth by organizations like the WEF. While they provide valuable insights into potential future challenges, it's essential to remember that these are just predictions, not certainties. The future remains unwritten, and it's up to us to shape it. Now let's delve into the recent financial struggles of Blackstone, a leading global investment business. The financial world has been rocked by the news that Blackstone defaulted on a $38 million mortgage for a Manhattan office tower, development that raises serious questions about the firm's stability and the broader implications for the financial market. The office tower question is now being sold at a 50% discount, a move that indicates severe financial distress. Such a significant markdown is not a decision taken lightly and reflects the urgency of Blackstone's situation. This event is a stark reminder of the volatility of the real estate market and the high stakes involved in such investments. Further compounding Blackstone's woes is the poor performance of its real estate income trust, Brait. In 2023, Brait saw its lowest annual return since its inception in 2017, reporting a loss of 0.5%. For a firm like Blackstone, which has built its reputation on delivering robust returns for its investors, such a downturn is a significant blow. The lackluster performance of Brait raises concerns about the efficacy of Blackstone's all-weather investment strategy amidst economic turmoil. This strategy, designed to deliver consistent returns regardless of market conditions, appears to have faltered. It is a development that could shake investor confidence and prompt a reevaluation of Blackstone's investment approach. This financial struggle at Blackstone could signal a potential trend towards broader market instability. If a giant like Blackstone is feeling the pinch, it could be an indicator of underlying issues within the financial sector. The impact of such financial problems extends beyond Wall Street, potentially affecting investors, employees, and the broader economy. There is considerable uncertainty about what the future holds for Blackstone and what this means for the wider financial market. Will other firms follow suit and default on their loans? Could this be the beginning of a larger market downturn? These are questions that are currently hanging in the balance, adding to the air of uncertainty. However, it's important to remember that financial markets are inherently cyclical. Periods of growth are often followed by periods of contraction and vice versa. While the current situation is undoubtedly challenging, it also presents opportunities for learning and growth. Companies like Blackstone may need to reassess their strategies and adapt to changing market conditions, but this is part and parcel of operating in the financial sector. Let's delve into a topic of increasing global concern: The alarming rise in cardiovascular deaths. This surge in heart disease-related fatalities is not just a health crisis, but also an economic burden, and it's essential that we pay attention. The statistics are startling. Globally, there has been a significant increase in cardiovascular deaths with the United Kingdom, witnessing a particularly sharp rise. But this is not a problem confined to one region. The excess mortality rates are equally concerning in other parts of the world. In the United States, the rate is over 10%, and Canada is grappling with around 15%. Europe is facing similar surges, and Japan's excess mortality rate is climbing above a staggering 20%. In England, the British Heart Foundation reports a 14-year high early heart disease deaths. There have been over 100,000 excess deaths since February 2020, a figure that underscores the severity of the situation. Yeah, despite these alarming numbers, there seems to be a lack of public awareness and media coverage on the growing number of heart disease-related fatalities. This discrepancy between the magnitude of the problem and the level of attention it receives is a cause for concern. The economic impact of this health crisis is severe. Heart diseases are costing healthcare systems billions. In England, the National Health Service is facing a 72% increase in its heart care waiting list. This not only highlights the strain on the healthcare system, but also underscores the urgent need for preventative measures and early intervention strategies. At this juncture, it's crucial to understand the driving factors behind this epidemic of heart disease. Comprehensive research is needed to shed light on the root causes of this surge. Are lifestyle factors such as diet and exercise playing a role? Or are there other, perhaps less obvious factors at play? These are questions that researchers must urgently address. However, it's not just up to the scientists and healthcare professionals. As individuals, we also have a role to play in combating this crisis. This might involve making healthier lifestyle choices, raising awareness about heart disease in our communities, or advocating for more resources to be allocated to heart disease research and treatment. Now let's delve into the recent discussions at the World Economic Forum in Davos, the annual gathering, which saw over 300 global elites in attendance, focused on pressing international issues that could potentially reshape global dynamics. Among the key attendees were Anthony Blinken, Jake Sullivan, Jens Stoltenberg, and Volodymyr Zelensky. The presence of these figures, particularly Zelensky, the president of Ukraine, and Stoltenberg, the secretary of NATO, indicates a significant focus on the ongoing conflict in Ukraine. This conflict, which has been a source of international tension, was a prominent topic at Davos. President Zelensky used the platform to appeal for more financial support in Ukraine's battle against Russia. His plea underscores the dire situation in Ukraine and the need for international assistance. However, the response to this call for help has been mixed, reflecting the complexities of the conflict and the geopolitical interests at stake. NATO Secretary Stoltenberg, for instance, believes that increasing military aid could lead to peace. This stance is controversial, with critics arguing that it could escalate the conflict rather than resolve it. Moreover, Western countries like the United States and the United Kingdom have added to the tension by supplying arms to Ukraine, a move that could potentially exacerbate the situation. Amidst these discussions, Klaus Schwab, the founder of the World Economic Forum, called for a paradigm shift towards long-term sustainable solutions and rebuilding trust. His call highlights the need for a new approach to addressing global challenges, one that prioritizes sustainability and mutual trust. However, debates have arisen over whether the discussions at Davos align with the broader population's will and needs. Critics argue that the forum, with its elite attendees, is disconnected from the realities faced by ordinary people. This disconnect raises important questions about the relevance and impact of the Davos discussions. Another major topic at Davos was misinformation, which was highlighted as a global threat. Proposed regulation measures to combat misinformation were discussed. These proposals raise concerns about their potential impact on democracy and freedom of speech. Balancing the need to curb misinformation with the need to preserve democratic values is a complex challenge that requires careful consideration. In conclusion, the discussions at the World Economic Forum in Davos have shed light on some of the most pressing issues facing the world today. From the conflict in Ukraine to the threat of misinformation, these issues are complex and multifaceted. They require not only immediate action, but also a long-term sustainable approach. In light of these critical findings and spirited discussions, it's evident that our world stands at a pivotal juncture. The challenges we face, be it the health crisis of rising cardiovascular diseases or the geopolitical and informational conflicts underscored at the World Economic Forum are daunting. Yet these challenges also present opportunities for change and for global cooperation like never before. It is through dialogues like those at Davos and the proactive efforts of communities and individuals alike that we can hope to navigate these turbulent times. Before we conclude, we pose a question to you, our view essay. What role do you believe individuals and local communities can play in addressing these global issues? Share your thoughts in the comments section below. Your insights are a valuable part of the conversation. If you found this overview thought-provoking, please consider giving us a like. And don't forget to subscribe to our channel for more insightful content. Together, let's stay informed and engage with the world around us.